Howdy, howdy, it's Trisha Lee. Welcome to the Disruptive Technology Hangout. I'm super, super excited about this one, and I'm really, really excited for what's coming up after the Hangout ends. So stay till the end of our Hangout, and I'll give you an invitation to another event that's coming up right after this ends. And I'm also really, really excited for something super special that is happening this Saturday that I'll tell you about at the end of the Hangout. So stick around for that. And before we get started into our new technology topic that we're both really, really stoked about, I just want to introduce my partner, Larry Lever. Larry is the Vice President of Development for King Sunshine Solar Systems, and he is the CEO of TK Environmental. He built up a $1 million company back in the 90s using patented technology for recycling plastics, and he sold out of that business and was able to start working with me in TK Environmental and King Sunshine Solar Systems. And so tonight we're talking about a topic that comes up very frequently on these disruptive technology hangouts, which is solar power. And being that our company, King Sunshine Solar Systems, is working on a new way for people to generate solar power, Larry and I both try to keep our fingers on the pulse of the industry of basically all alternative energy, but kind of focus in on solar power. And specifically what we're working on is solar thermal, or concentrated solar power, which has to do with the heat. Most people are more familiar with photovoltaics, which we're kind of going to be talking about something I believe that falls under the photovoltaic category. But typically photovoltaics are like the black solar panels that you see that most people are familiar with and are using, but they only utilize the light that comes from the sun. And so with our project, we're specifically focused on the heat of the sun. However, we're looking for potential ways so that we can generate energy from both the heat and the light. But what we're going to be talking about tonight is about this amazing new technology. And Larry, of course, will know more about it than I do as far as the technical aspects. But I'm so excited about it because I had this idea a really long time ago for having solar-powered blinds. So, you know, like your windows, you have like either vertical blinds, or a lot of people have the slat blinds or whatever. And I thought, you know, what if you could put solar collectors in your blinds, and then the sun that hits your window would go through that. And a couple years after I had that idea, somebody actually came out with solar blinds, and so I was happy about that. However, I don't think that they were able to make them very efficient. They haven't really caught on. They've been around like over 5 years, and they just haven't been able to catch on. But what we discovered, I believe yesterday we first heard about this, so this is kind of breaking news, is that someone has gone a step further beyond having blinds that generate electricity to actually being able to create transparent solar panels. So if you came to this hangout because of a post I made on Facebook, you may have saw a picture of the guy holding up what looks like a little window. It's actually, I believe, a photovoltaic. So basically what this means is that potentially moving forward in the future, every window installed on every building could be making power for inside of that building. So Larry, can you hop out here and tell us what you know about these solar panels? Correct me if I'm wrong. This is a new photovoltaic that's been created, or just fill us in on what you know about this new technology.
Sure. The company that's kind of leading the way with this is called ubiquitous, I can't even pronounce it, ubiquitous energy Inc. And they've got something that they call Clearview Power Technology. It's being demonstrated in mainly in Europe, I believe, because it's being demonstrated in BMW brand stores around the world. And basically, Clearview Power is a transparent photovoltaic coating, which is they're being displayed on 6-inch panels in all these different locations. So essentially, they're windows that can produce electricity, very similar to the way photovoltaics do. Not a lot of information yet on how efficient these are, but being that they're transparent is quite unique. That they're on these solar cells is you can see right through them, and somehow they make electricity. I'm still not really up on the technology because it's quite innovative and new. But the automotive industry is showing a lot of interest in it because it's also lightweight, and they're talking about using them in basically the next generation vehicles like electric cars and stuff. Because when you think about it, an automobile has a lot of glass on it because you have to see where you're going. If you're not in a Google car, if you're actually having to still drive your vehicle, you see where you're going. So I'm not, like I said, I'm not sure exactly how it works. But it probably uses ultraviolet UV rays mainly to pick up the energy from them. So how that actually works, I think, is still kind of anybody's guess because it's like I say, it's pretty new technology, and what we do know that they're I think their efficiency is around 10%, which is quite a bit lower than a lot of the other technologies out there. But when you think about it being a window, that means that we love windows. People love windows in their homes, in their offices. People like to be able to have natural lighting. And so if you think about actual building construction, if all the windows could actually be still transparent, allowing light through it, and people would still be able to work with natural lighting, but the windows are also creating electricity. This is a very good, a promising technology simply because it's not blocking a lot of the light as the black photovoltaics do. They have about 90% visible transparency, so it blocks 10% of, I guess it would probably be blocking 10% of the light, and so you can still see through the windows, but they'd probably look a little bit tinted. I've never seen one of the windows yet because, like I said, this is really new stuff. But the technology is, like I say, quite new, and we're still learning quite a bit about it.
Yeah, it's super exciting, and definitely I think that probably windows have been a bit of a barrier for people wanting to install solar panels. In some cases, people sometimes have skylights, and so they wouldn't want to lose their access to that natural light within their homes by erecting solar panels on their roofs. So the fact that you could have the windows in your home generating power while still being able to have them function as a window seems like a big win-win for me. I would definitely be interested in investing in this kind of technology because, you know, it's when you think about construction, when you're building a home or an office or something like that, you want to put windows in, and probably I think that this could create a lot of disruption for architects, because when people discover that my windows can be create solar power, I think a lot of times a lot of people are going to want to incorporate a lot more windows into the designs of their homes, and especially offices. Typically, a lot of office buildings don't have a lot of windows. And then same with people when they're designing their homes. I think a lot of times they may not have as many windows as they might like added because of the cost. But then when you can balance that cost with your ability to generate electricity and create future savings on your utility bills, then I think it will create a whole lot of disruption within construction, and people will be looking to have more windows in all buildings that are created, especially if they're going to make the investment to use this new technology. So that's kind of exciting. I love the idea of having more natural light getting into buildings where people are working or where they live. And I think that this will go a long way to encouraging people to incorporate more windows into construction projects and into architectural designing of buildings. And yeah, it's just a really cool thing, and I'm really excited about the potential that this technology has. And like you say, the efficiency would be an issue, except for the duality of the product. The fact that it can be a window and generate power at the same time makes it attractive, even though it's not as inefficient, or it doesn't have the same efficiency as some other types of solar power.
No, that's true. And when you think about it, the first thing that came to mind when I heard that they were transparent is that they could actually be put on skyscrapers, which are basically all glass. If you think about a city like Vancouver, these coastal type towns really love the windows. And if you can put this coating on all the windows of the skyscrapers, even at 10% efficiency, you're looking at generating quite a bit of electricity, simply because these go upwards. They're not flat like a ground application, and they don't have a lot of space on the roof. However, if they can coat all these windows with this coating, this photovoltaic coating, yeah, you're looking at making power on buildings that people would not be able to make power on unless they were to cover up the windows. So yeah, that's pretty huge when it comes to downtown applications. Dallas is, I think, another town that has a lot of glass structures that would look great with and I'm sure they're going to jump on this technology right away. Texans always seem to go that way, and they when something new and hot comes out, that's not going to change a lot of what they're already used to. Yeah, they're pretty much going to be on board with it. And I think after this trial over the summer, this is just a summer testing thing that they're doing with BMW, where they're going to have these little windows on their windows, the demonstration thing. It's going to be pretty cool. I actually saw a picture of one of the 6-inch. Well, it's not really a picture; it's more of a drawing of a diagram showing the coating, and then two electrical leads coming off the coating. I'm thinking, well, how can you put electrical leads on something like a coating? But like I say, I guess we'll know when we see this product come out this summer. If you're in a town that has any dealership, that's where you're going to have to go to take a look at it. and see for yourself. And I think a lot of people will be doing that. And BMW is probably going to get a lot of business as well, because it's pretty. It's not really new technology. I've heard of the. We have flexible solar panels that are also transparent. They're not clear, but they're transparent. And this product being 90% clear, that's quite a bit different than anything that I've ever seen in news items. So yeah, it's definitely something to pay attention to. Another new type of solar technology that will probably be utilized really quick. And I should also mention that a lot of these new things are being installed and implemented as soon as they're being invented. A lot of really big companies are latching on to these new technologies before anybody even hears about them being out there. So where we're going to actually see this maybe next year is probably going to be the owners of these big skyscrapers. I think I'm pretty sure they're really going to want to coat all their glazing or their glass for their buildings with this material. It just totally makes sense.
Can you hear me? You're muted.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay. Yeah, you were muted there for a sec. You're muted.
Yeah, I was just saying that a lot of these new technologies come out, and as soon as they come out, some of the big corporations get their hands on it, and all of a sudden, boom, it's out there. And it really makes you think about the old days. A lot of revolutionary technologies would hit the market, and the big corporations would come along and buy it and shelve the technology if it had any effect on their business. However, this technology is more in line with energy, producing energy and electricity, which really doesn't, when you really stop to think of it, it doesn't really affect anybody's business. Not even the utilities are affected. If you're making your own electricity, the utilities are slightly affected. However, I don't think they really notice it if the technology goes 100%, yeah, they're really going to notice it. I think we're a long ways from that happening, and by the time that happens, I think the utilities will have their own infrastructure kind of phased in with working with all these new renewable energy technologies. So I think they'll be perfectly fine.
So do you have any, can you describe for me a little bit more, you kind of touched on it, how they plan to use it for automotives? Like instead of a battery, or to charge the battery, or, because you said BMW.
Yeah, exactly. The automotive stuff, they're looking at putting it onto the glazing of your windows. So your rear window, your side windows, and your front windows of the automobile actually takes up a large percentage of the surface area of the vehicle. So if you are allowed to have the coating on your windows, I don't know if it's really going to be possible to propel the vehicle itself, but it'll definitely assist the batteries. Just being that it's vehicles will be capable of producing more electricity, other than just having electricity generated from standard photovoltaic type of panels on the vehicle. So when it comes to the vehicle, they take the glass and they spray this coating, which is the transparent solar technology, the clear view power technology, is actually sprayed with a film or a thin coat or a film that goes onto the window, kind of like spraying Windex or something, but the Windex doesn't come off. So that itself is kind of a unique way of doing things, because if you can actually spray windows it might be possible to spray other things with this technology uh, that are not clear, that maybe are just a shiny surface, like mirrors. Um, it'd be interesting to see if a mirror could create stuff on the one side of the mirror, and then it reflected through the mirror out the other side. Whether it double that efficiency up to 20%, I don't know. Um, that in itself, if they can use this technology and coat the mirrors that they are using for solar thermal applications, and it'll work, yeah, then now they're talking about even producing more electricity on the utility scale with the solar towers like Ivanpah and stuff like that. So yeah, that's basically the gist of it. It's very similar to the spray-on flexible stuff that we saw at the trade show in Munich and in Dallas, where they were flexible solar panels. It's very similar to that, except it's clear. So they've kind of taken it a step further. And that would also mean that since this stuff is clear, there's going to be quite a different applications for it that I think a lot of people aren't even thinking about right now. If it's clear, you can have I don't know, whatever your imagine can come up with as far as producing electricity. It's pretty cool. It's pretty revolutionary stuff. And so when you talk about the disruptive technology of this, it's going to definitely disrupt. It's not going to disrupt the glass. I would have a hard time seeing that. And I don't know if it's really going to disrupt the photovoltaic industry. What it might disrupt, though, is any companies that aren't incorporating this technology. What happens if you take spray coating and you spray it on the surface of a standard photovoltaic? Can you actually produce more electricity off your photovoltaic by coating over the glass of the photovoltaic? So if that's the case, what would the efficiency go up to on a standard photovoltaic? See, I'm not really sure if the light actually has to pass through the coating or whether the coating just has to be on the surface of the glass. And if it only has to be on the surface of the glass, yeah, we're going to see whatever energy is being used to create the electricity from the sun, whatever wavelength it is. If it's also a wavelength that's used by the photovoltaic, we might not see a difference in efficiency. But if it's using a wavelength that the photovoltaic doesn't use, yeah, we'll see an increase in electrical output and efficiency of standard photovoltaics.
Yeah, it's really exciting. Definitely, like any place that you see glass could potentially. I'm trying to think of anything else. It's like automotives and in building, and I don't know that there's much more than that, but glasses. What are you gonna solar power with your glasses? I don't know. I guess
Hearing aid,
charge your phone with your sunglasses, I guess.
Well, yeah, they actually have photovoltaic clothing now that you can actually wear clothing that's covered in solar cells and charge your phone and whatever you're having around. So yeah, it's probably to go that way.
I wonder what kind of health problems that could create. Because basically, if you have photovoltaics on your clothes, you're creating a magnetic field around your body, and I don't know if that would be really healthy. But I guess that, like with anything, if there is a negative health effect, you won't find out about it until much later, because I'm sure it'd be small and cumulative, not like an instant dose of something that will give you cancer. Yeah. But over time, I imagine that there may be some kind of health issues created by solar clothing, I guess. But And potentially if you put these panels in your glasses, maybe, I don't know. But yeah, definitely it's a very unique and exciting technology. And I think that anybody out there that might be tuned into this, if you're involved with architecture or construction, you may want to take a really good look at this technology. And once it hits the marketplace, this is something that you could potentially distribute and sell to your clients. And I'm sure you can, it would be, oh, what's the word I'm looking for? I'm sure you would be able to profit with a small markup when you're able to convince your clients and customers that this is a material that they want to include in their project. Definitely cool to be able to. I'm excited because I'm actually in the process of building my dream home, and it's been delayed on several occasions, but you know, there's always some kind of push or pull that creates, you know, what happens in our lives. So hearing this, it's kind of given me a good feeling about these construction delays, because obviously if the construction was finished, I would already have windows installed that would not be using this new technology. So now moving forward, I know that when I actually am at the stage of installing windows, I will be able to incorporate this new technology into our building. And like the whole goal with building the house, and a big part of the reason for the delay in the construction has been because of wanting it to be off the grid. And so in a lot of cases, the technology hasn't been there to be able to go off grid. And we purchased some solar panels, photovoltaic solar panels, and we realized that we wanted a better way to be able to create electricity. And that somehow we came up with the ideas for King Sunshine solar systems. But now it's like with each passing day, it seems like the fruition of this dream is more and more closer to reality, and it's just turned into something that initially, looking at building a home and being off grid, it looked like it was going to be something very, very challenging. But with each passing day, with each new development in alternative energy technologies, it's just making it easier and easier for that dream of being off grid becoming a reality. So sometimes things happen that you're not necessarily expecting or wanting, but there's some kind of purpose behind it that's going, like, you know, it's the time isn't right, and so the universe kind of brings you the right things at the right time when you have a vision and you're focused on creating something. So definitely, yeah, I'm looking forward to installing this technology in the windows of my little log cabin that I'm building out on 80 acres of land that I have, and having my horses there and all that. But in the meantime, I'm excited to see what other kinds of new technology come along that will also be able to be used for that purpose of being off grid. This is really exciting to me.
Yeah, the thing is, like I was just saying, if you put this coating on a photovoltaic, and it also creates more power than the photovoltaic, yeah, you can bet people are going to be coating their photovoltaics and everything with this coating. I think we still have to learn a little bit more about its competition. Like, I'm kind of speculating a little bit as to how it can, how it actually works, being that it's just a coating.
I got a diagram here that kind of I got a couple diagrams here, so I'll do a screen share and we can take a look at these. Okay, here we go. These are off of Google. So it says that there's this optional AR coding. Do you know what AR stands for? Oh, come on. Are you familiar with AR? I can't hear you. Oh, the image isn't showing.
Yeah.
There, now can you see it?
Yeah.
Okay. So do you know what AR coding means? I don't know.
I've heard it used when they're talking about.
I know it's not artificial respiration, but anyway, there's
infrared radiation. AR might be another type of radiation.
and then it says that there's a transparent substrate, which would mean probably glass or plastic. And then there's a transparent electrode, which is interesting. And
Yeah.
UV, NIR, active layers, obviously something ultraviolet. I'm not sure what the NIR is. And then there's another electrode, and then a UV NIR reflector, and then another optional AR coding. And then we'll just look at, we'll look at a couple more of these diagrams. How the solar window works. So there's heat dissipation, an optical system, photovoltaic cell, and the glass planes. It's not really all that clear how it works, but it says the solar window made by Sun Mato's Pythagoras Solar is comprised of two panes of glass with small horizontal rows of solar cells sandwiched in between. Light from above hits the cell and is collected as energy, while light from other directions simply passes through the window. Okay, that's interesting. Here's another. Oh, that's something else. Those are just regular solar panels. Yeah, this is super new, you guys. So as you can see, these are different types of solar systems. So there's not really a lot of information available about this yet. And correct me if I'm wrong, but this is not available to the marketplace yet. It's just in testing, correct? And where is it that they're testing it, Larry?
At BMW stores globally. So wherever you purchase BMW products, motorcycles, and automobiles, and golf clubs, I'm sure BMW is making golf clubs by now.
All right. So they're testing it like in the actual vehicles or in their showrooms, or?
They're putting them on the windows of their place.
The showrooms. Okay, yep. That's cool. So in Munich, Germany, they had this right by the Olympic Park or whatever, their big Olympic stadium or whatever. There's this huge, like 50-story BMW skyscraper thing that we've seen when we were there. So I imagine if the tests go well in their local showrooms and stuff, that they'll probably want to replace that huge building covered in windows with some of this technology as well. So that doesn't surprise me that BMW is conducting a lot of the testing, because they're based mainly European. And so like where we are, we're in Alberta, Canada, and here in Alberta, Canada, we're resource rich, and our population is super low density. So there's not as much of a demand for this efficiency and stuff, because, you know, we look around, we have lots of resources and we don't have a lot of people. So, but when you go to Europe and places like Germany and France, they have much less resources and a much higher population. So they have a lot more motivation to jump on this new technology and to use it. And we're just starting here in Alberta, Canada. We're just starting to see individuals installing solar panels onto their homes. When we were in Germany, and this is almost 5 years ago now, it was like, I'd say more than 50% of the homes and businesses had solar panels installed on their roofs. And so definitely, it's not really surprising to me that this new technology is being utilized by BMW, because they're European-based auto manufacturer, and they have a lot more motivation for alternative energy in general. So did you come up with any other ideas or thoughts about where they may utilize, or have they talked about any other places that will be testing the technology, Larry? You're
I was
muted.
just going to say that the BMW plant that we saw in Munich was, with the big tower there.
Partner, Larry Lee. Sorry, what was that?
The BMW tower that we saw in Munich, right beside it was a giant plant that I guess we didn't have access to see. However, that plant was completely covered in solar panels. So I think they would plan to put coating on their vehicles. They already have, and this is kind of interesting, a lot of BMW rooftops of their vehicles are cells, but they're the photovoltaic solar cells. So if you were to have a sunroof in your vehicle and you want to see through it, you'd like to have this coating on your sunroof so you can produce electricity. And that's getting back to the same thing I was saying earlier about all the glass on a vehicle could essentially be coated with this material. So BMW, yeah, they're pretty big into the solar already, being a German company, and Germans are pretty advanced when it comes to solar right now as well. So it just makes sense that would be the vehicle, pardon the pun, that would be carrying this new technology into the future.
Yeah, not surprising at all.
No, it's not. Tesla is probably going to use it on their electric vehicles. Their windows with all the Tesla vehicles, they're standard vehicle windows. So I don't know. I would say the standard vehicle, probably at least 30% of the vehicle is glass, like windows. So you get those coated in this stuff and in this coating, this photovoltaic coating, and you're going to produce quite a bit more electricity than you would without. So yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how it goes. I was also going to mention this stuff we learned recently about the Australian university down in Australia coming up with the blowing the efficiency record out of the water by separating the bands of sunlight. It kind of makes you wonder if this material could also be included in their application, where you're taking the different beams of sunlight, or different bands of sunlight, and making energy from them at higher efficiencies. Whether that's something that's could be inviting or included with that technology would be kind of interesting to see if that would be a fit to bring those two technologies together. I'm not sure. I'm not sure if it would be possible, but it kind of made me wonder. I think the whole name of the game here is to be able to coat stuff and be able to produce electricity off of it, and being able to see through it is pretty pretty amazing in itself.
Yeah, most definitely. I love this idea. I never really thought of it because it just didn't, just based on everything that I've learned about solar, I would have guessed that such a thing would not be possible. And I can imagine that the people in the lab developing it probably had a lot of challenges being able to do this, because I'm not like, I don't think the technology is so brand new. I don't think anybody except the people who have developed it really can understand how it works or how it's possible, because the whole idea of it, based on everything that I've learned about solar technology thus far, it just wouldn't even seem like something worth pursuing, because and I'm sure that in the lab there were a lot of obstacles and probably hundreds, if not thousands, of failures to be able to actually make this technology work. Just I can't even. I have a hard time wrapping my head around where you would even begin, just based on what I know, because like what I understand about photovoltaics as we traditionally know them, they have diodes and there's all kinds of metals involved, and a lot of this stuff isn't transparent. And there's just like this kind of, in my mind, just this vision of like they're always black, because the white, the color white reflects sunlight and black absorbs both sunlight and heat. So the thought of having it transparent, very much, I felt very much the same way with the discovery of the flexible solar panels, because it's like, well, they're, from what you understand, they're glass, right? And so it's like, how can you make that flexible? But I guess with the new types of plastics and stuff that are being developed, and potentially these windows are not glass, they're some kind of transparent chemical that's able to carry the electricity. So I'm quite certain that this isn't just regular glass.
Oh, it's not glass. It's a
window. It's what?
It's not glass coating they put on glass.
Okay, yeah. So it's not glass, it's a coating on the glass. But even, so it's some kind of chemical that's able to take the sunlight and make electricity and somehow transfer it. It's just mind-boggling, the chemistry that had, the experiments that must have had to be done. And I imagine this is something that they've been working on for quite a long time, and finally been able to come up with something usable, is what I would imagine, just based on our own experience and my studies of different types of businesses. Typically you get an idea, it's a great idea, and then when you go to implement the idea, you find out that there's all kinds of obstacles and difficulties and failures that you have to face before you can actually create something usable and exciting for people to want to get behind it. So I imagine there was a lot of funding that went into the idea, and yeah, a lot of failure getting to this point where they can actually be successful with generating electricity with basically a window. What looks like a window, but it's not. It's a high tech transparent solar energy collector that is also a window, I guess. It's pretty exciting.
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure that it can also be used, being that it's coating, it can be used on pretty much any surface. So, and the efficiency of 10%, it should be noted that it's a transparent coating, but as you crank up that efficiency, it gets darker and darker.
Uh, so yeah, definitely. I wonder about the tinting of it and the quality of the light, but that's all stuff that will be have to seen in the future as they go through testing and stuff. Um, but yeah, we're coming up to the top of the hour, so this is definitely a subject that potentially we'll revisit on another hangout when possibly when it's released to the market and people are able to start implementing the technology within their own homes or office spaces or wherever. We can revisit the topic, and maybe by that time we'll actually have a little bit more understanding and information about how the technology actually works, and hopefully maybe some new ideas of what opportunities will be presented for people with this new technology. And yeah, that's kind of there's a few reasons why Larry and I have started these hangouts. One reason is just mainly to share ideas, to get our own thoughts out there and documented, and our ideas just clear in our own minds. And by speaking with each other in this way, we're definitely able to do that. And then by broadcasting it and sharing it out on YouTube and other social media venues, potentially we can inspire other people to take hold of a lot of the opportunities that we're presenting and talking about, and being able to move forward on some of the ideas that maybe we had, and or maybe you heard our ideas and you thought, oh, those are stupid ideas, but I have a good idea. And being able to you know, create some kind of benefit for humanity based on the new technology that's coming out. Because whenever there's new technology, there's new opportunity that comes along with that. And Larry and I are typically very busy with our companies, King Sunshine and TK, that we're not always able to move on these opportunities. So this is one of the reasons that we started the Hangout, was to be able to present the ideas and the potential opportunities to other people to be able to take advantage of it, that aren't so busy and working on other projects. If you're looking for a way to start a business, then definitely if you went to our channel and went through our Hangout list, the roster of all these hangouts that we've done, you could find a topic that interests you, and within that hangout somewhere is probably an idea that you could pick up and run with, and potentially create maybe a new technology out of, or start some kind of new business offering a product or service that we've talked about. And the final reason that we started doing these hangouts is to be able to create a bridge to an amazing opportunity that I found that deals with some majorly disruptive technology, and that's internet marketing. So if you're on the free energy page, there will be a button below the Hangout, and as soon as the Hangout ends, I'd like to extend you an invitation to join us on this Project Titan training that is going to talk to you about a whole new product suite that is being created actually on Saturday. So if you get on the Hangout tonight, then you'll be able to be invited for Saturday's broadcast, where they're going to be in Denver, Colorado, creating a live training, which will be free for people to access, and it will be selling people this new suite of products that are going to help people be able to cash in on the internet. I can't really talk too much about it. I do believe there's still a non-disclosure agreement that you have to sign before you get on the Hangout, because the product hasn't actually launched yet. But I would like to invite you at this time to click the button below the Hangout and join us for the Empower Network Project Titan pre-launch NDA meeting. And I guess I'll leave it at that. Before I go, I want everybody out there to know that I'm a firm believer that in this life, absolutely anybody can be, do, and have anything they want, or we can have everything we want. And I choose everything, and I hope you will too, because you can. So click the button below and tune into Project Titan and find out how we help people to manifest their deepest desires using the internet as a tool. And if I don't see you in the future, I'll see you all out in the pasture tomorrow. Thanks so much for watching. Bye, Larry.
Bye-bye.